So I wanted to start with the line, "It was like he took my voice that day just when I was about to start finding it." Both times I've seen the film, and I imagine every time I will rewatch it from here on out, that line will absolutely devastate me. So to highlight some of the good out there, can you name someone that you encountered early on in your career who made you feel seen and supported in the best possible way so that you could take a positive step forward when you were first starting out in this industry?
Yes, yes, I was very lucky to have met people who who made me feel, respected and met with curiosity and openness and gender equality. Yeah, I also
So
had different experiences, though. I think we all did. We all had good and bad experiences.
to build on that, then, based on having had those experiences and overcome them, is there anything maybe you personally strive to do for up and coming filmmakers out there so that they feel the support that maybe you didn't have as much as you would have liked when you were first beginning your career?
When I first began my career, I had a very uncomfortable time of rehearsals with a colleague, a much older colleague, and now doing She Said made me think back and how privileged I was because I never experienced abuse in my childhood. I had a healthy childhood. I didn't feel incredibly dependent on that job. I was surrounded by people who made me feel safe and shared what had happened and helped me get a lawyer. And that is very, very privileged. And I truly hope that, bringing this story to the screen and listening to these accounts of the very, very brave women and some of them really not being in the public eye, but, former ex-assistants being so happy to maybe have a future in that workplace and then so brutally have been disrupted from it, courageously telling their story. I really hope that this inspires other people to also have a conversation and share their stories and feel uplifted by it and encouraged. Because this place of isolation is, I think, the worst, and it still makes me very emotional if I think of, where Zelda Perkins or Laura Madden have been. Yeah.
Based on the audience responses at the two screenings I was at, I have a very, very good feeling this film will have the intended effect. I mean it.
Thank you.
Going back to the beginning here, I've grown a little obsessed with this Joe Wright quote someone shared with me recently, that a director should only take on scripts that they feel they have a secret about. So I was wondering, you've got the incredible reporting here, you've got the real people, you're working with a great script, but what was your She Said secret that gave you the confidence that if you were at the helm of this film, you would be able to bring it to screen in a way that was uniquely your own?
I think my own radar is my instinctive reactions to what I read, what I then see in front of my eyes, which is fed also by personal experiences. I think the fact that I was working most of my life as an actor, then turned into directing. The emotional response I had to so many scenes just gave me the confidence to take it on, because it's something to take on, right? It's a project like no other, it feels, because it's so much reality in there. It's a true story, and not just a true story, but a true story which, had such an impact. And maybe it's something very specific that everyone knows the story, so everyone has his own, projection of what this movie has to be. And I think with the help of so many fantastic collaborators, I felt very secure and self-confident about the decisions we had to make, how to film it, what to film, what not to film, and the general tonality and reality about it.
All right. Speaking of how to actually film and give us the visuals for reporting, like showing news gathering on screen in a dynamic and also a tension building manner can be a very, very difficult thing to do. So what techniques or tips did you come up with while making She Said that you might give to another filmmaker about to tackle their first film about investigative journalism?
Well, first of all, we have to acknowledge this is a genre, right? Journalists, on the hunt for the truth. We can name a lot of titles which make suspenseful films about journalism, and I do think this one also serves that aspect, I think it is exciting the more specific it gets. I was very happy to learn all about the details. And I think it's a director's responsibility to first of all, create emotional connections to the protagonist and to really make the audience understand why this phone call, this particular moment is so very important for them, right? And to stay connected with, even though it's very grunt work, which we see, but I find it always very interesting to learn the specifics about other people's workplace. And of course, we wanted to portray this particular workplace with accuracy and truth.
With that in mind, was there any like teeny tiny detail in the process of getting this story out there that, I don't know, maybe was deemed like too small and not worthy of the final feature film, but even though it was a small detail, you knew it was important and you wanted it to have some screen time?
Yeah, there were several moments we created through the making. So, for instance, which is the humor part with Ron and Jodi. This little humoresque understanding. That was something the actors very much brought. And then there was another moment that I truly wanted to see Zelda coming back from her years in Guatemala, coming back and getting out of the car and looking around herself in London and being back. Yeah, that was also a moment which was important to me. And we just stole that shot and made it happen.
What you wound up with here is really something else. I could talk to you about it all day, but they will not let me. So I will say huge, huge congratulations. And I can't wait to be talking about this movie for many weeks to come and then well beyond.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.